Tonight we're going to be talking about patience. How many of us need at least a little bit more patience? Especially as we are praying for breakthrough, for a God event, a suddenly in our life. Now, as I talked last week, one of the points that I made was that suddenlies don't happen every day. Now, God's display of His grace, God's goodness, God's blessings, church, they happen every day. In the life of the Israelites, they happened every day. They received manna every day. Our problem is we're praying every day for these God events, but they may not happen every day. And God is still wanting us to have faith, to keep praying. Here's a truism. If patience was the key to success, most people would rather pick the lock. I need to say that again. If patience were the key to breakthrough, most people would rather pick the lock. Patience, the building of patience, guess what? Takes patience. It happens over time. But God needs to build patience in us. He's requesting that we have patience so that He's able to do what He needs to do in His timing for His purposes. It is so easy for us to second-guess God, isn't it, church? Oh, man, it's so easy. We can become impatient with Him. You know, in the Christian life, it's easy to ask God, are we there yet? The Israelites, in so many words, asked that very same question. They knew that because of what their fathers did, that they were going to be wandering in the desert for 40 years. Now that 40 years, according to Exodus chapter 20, has come to a conclusion. They are stoked. But they run into some problems. If you were to look there in chapter 20, you may find that the 40 years are over and that the Moses generation that lacked faith is now dead and the Joshua generation has taken front stage. They're at the helm now. They're the generation who will be taking the promised land. They're the ones who by faith will be conquering the land of Canaan. But trials are still similar. Right there in chapter 20. We're not going to read it. Just like the incident before the 40 years, they've run out of water. They're dying of thirst. Now, I can imagine as a dad just saying, God, what am I going to do? How am I going to provide for my family? My kids are dying of thirst. You know, Jimmy during praise and worship, Dad, can I go back and get a drink of water, please? And Jimmy, you're going to have to be patient. And you're just going to have to wait until the break, okay? And then when your dad preaches, then you can go get a drink of water, you know, something like this. But no, he is not. As a matter of fact, the Bible says in Deuteronomy 8 that their sandals and their clothes did not even wear out. Forget about the Kmart Blue Light Special. These were special sandals, special clothes. They didn't wear 40 years. They didn't wear out. I want to know where they got theirs. But I tell you what, God had plans for them. So here they are. They're in a similar situation. They're dying of thirst. What are you, God? Are we going to die here in the desert? Sounds similar. Are the 40 years really up? Are we really about to take the promised land? It doesn't stop there. They come up to the border of Edom. And if you were to look on your map in the back of a Bible that you might have, if there's a map there that displays the wandering of the Israelites in the desert, Edom is located just southeast of the Dead Sea. So here they are. They're coming up to the border of Edom. And since Edom was the brother, or Esau, was the brother of Jacob, also called Israel, they consider them brothers. They don't want to force themselves upon the Edomites. So they're very polite, and Moses asks, look, here's our situation. We've been in Egypt for 400 years. God has delivered us, and we've been through a lot of trials, and we're just simply asking, can we go on the King's Highway through your country? We won't eat anything, we won't drink anything, and if we do, we will handsomely pay you back. Could we please do this? Edom says nothing doing. As a matter of fact, they bring an army to the border to oppose them should they choose to go through Edom anyway. The door, the pathway through Edom is closed. They are opposed by a Canaanite king of Arad. This king attacks them and captures some of them. Now, if you're about to go into a land that is filled with giants, this is God's promise. It is a prophetic word upon your generation. You are the generation that's going to go in. You're going to take the land. And then this little king attacks you and takes some of your people. If for you to just walk, you feel as if a dog, you feel like a dog with his tail between his legs walking away. Just like a coward. What are we going to do? Here's this king, he's beating up on us. What are we going to do? God, why are you protecting us? Do you get this feel? They're at the end of the 40 years, they're expecting to experience this awesome breakthrough. And what's happening? The trials are the same. They're wanting passage through Edom, a simple request, and boom, the door is closed. And God says, don't attack them. And now this little old Canaanite king is attacking us and whooping our butt. So what are we going to do?